I don't know where to start. I mean, an atrocious day at the office for Bristol City. A truly sobering day for all of those who made the trip down to Fratton Park. It was comfortably Bristol City's worst performance of the season, and it ended in a 3-0 hammering on the south coast, and a dismal day, away day, yet again this season for Bristol City. That's Derby away, that's Blackburn away, and now another 3-0 hammering on the road for the Reds. Let's dissect it, shall we? So I'll try my best. I am incredibly annoyed, incredibly frustrated at this team and at this, well, lack of consistency we're showing this season. But let's try to dissect it. The team today was Max O'Leary in goal. It was a back four of Zach Viner at right back, Luke McNally, Rob Dickey, Cam Pring. It was Marcus McGuane, Jason Knight, Max Bird as the kind of three in midfield. It was Mehmeti and Hirakawa with Naki Wells up top. And straight away, from obviously what we have to acknowledge here, if there's both sides, the conditions were tricky. It was incredibly windy, and quite frankly, the number of fans that actually made the trip down to Fratton Park is incredibly impressive in itself, with all the kind of cancelling of trains and whatnot. So the conditions were tricky. It was incredibly windy. It was wet. It was just a horrible kind of place to play football in at that point. Doesn't excuse it though. Those are weak, lame, pathetic excuses, in my humble opinion, and it doesn't excuse the fact that Bristol City absolutely were nowhere near good enough to get anything from the game, let alone beat Pompey today. So literally straight away, first 5-10 minutes, Pompey ran all over us. It was so similar to Derby in terms of they were coming onto us, they were pressing us, we were trying to keep a hold of the ball, points, but so many times we got the ball and we literally just hoofed it up the pitch to Naki Wells or Hirakawa or Anis Mehmeti, or as the half went on, we tried to switch it to Pring and he'd try and flick it on, and Mehmeti or someone would try and get on the end of it. It did not work. It didn't look like we had any sort of plan on the ball. Out of possession, we looked like a complete mess. We got dragged around so many times. Josh Murphy and Matt Ritchie had loads of good moments for Pompey in that first half, and yeah, Zach Viner is not a right back, and Josh Murphy is very good, very adequate championship player. He will get at you. He's direct. He's fast. He will get in behind you. No excuse though, because it was just a complete embarrassment. He didn't get close to him. Didn't back off. Just allowed him to have his way. With just allowed Josh Murphy to do whatever the hell he wants, really, up against Zach Viner. A complete embarrassing defensive display for him, one of the worst he's had in the last couple of years. And Cam Pring, well, as soon as he made that challenge on Matt Ritchie, he was living on the edge, and he got turned a couple of times the second half as well, just a complete mess from the defensive side of things. And Rob Dickey had a horrible game as well. McNally was marginally better, but not too much in the way of that as well. Jason Knight, let's talk about that. The first goal comes from, as I mentioned, a series of pressure, a period of pressure, nowhere near good enough, and just didn't go anywhere near Pompey, and just didn't go anywhere near them in terms of a pressing situation. We didn't play it out. We didn't play out that well. We didn't make the smart decisions. And what Leigh Manning has said, and what Chris Hogg has said as well, is that they want to kind of coach these players to become good decision makers. That was not evident today. Whenever we just had to get rid, didn't. We tried to play, didn't work during bad conditions, and with the Pompey side that were up against us and just generally at it. We made horrible decisions and ultimately cost us two goals. The first two goals. The first one comes to Jason. The ball goes to Jason Knight. We try to play out. Max gives it to Knight. Knight takes a bad first touch, and then they just swarm all over him. It's Bishop, and I think I can't remember who it was. It might have been Ritchie. Might have been Lang as well. He was absolutely brilliant. Callum Lang. They just swarm all over him. Colby Bishop has a shot that's saved, and then the rebound falls to Bishop. quite brilliantly for saved the first time by Max O'Leary, but then it just kind of forced Bishop again, and Bishop tucks in. And I've seen a lot of reaction, and I've posted this on Twitter actually, that there's an uproar about how we conceded the goal, and yeah, it's a bad decision. As I've just mentioned, it's a horrible decision to play out from the back at that point in time. It doesn't excuse the fact that even for the period before that, we didn't have any sort of control in the game, no rhythm, absolutely nothing, and got absolutely obliterated. And ultimately, that was what resulted in the first goal, not the fact that we had one moment where we tried to play out from the back and didn't go well. That was not why we conceded the first goal at all. That Colby Bishop goal comes on minute number 20, and then after that, for the rest of the half, we kind of got into it a little bit more towards the back end of it, won a few set pieces. That's another thing. Couldn't deal with set pieces in the slightest. Ritchie, Lang, it was someone else, Freddie Potts, couldn't deal with those set pieces coming into the box. Paul should have scored within the first couple of minutes from a set piece. Didn't deal with it in the slightest. Couldn't deal with it, and couldn't deal with their physicality. Couldn't deal with their threats from an aerial dimension. Couldn't deal with the direct football that Pompey played, and that's happened one too many times this season. And ultimately, despite me being quite vocal about the fact that we are quite flexible and adaptable, especially on the road, we've shown that this season. We were quite flexible against Borough, Norwich won both those games, even Swansea away where we got a point. All three of those games where we've got 7 points, we were defensively we prioritised that side of our game. Today, it didn't feel like any of that happened. It felt like we tried to go direct to points, tried to play out. Playing out didn't work, going direct didn't work, attacking players didn't get into the game, and, lost 3-0. As the rest of the half, kind of played all right, didn't really do much again, kind of got some rhythm and some sort of territory in the game. Again, nowhere near anything kind of sufficient or good enough to kind of warrant a goal or anything like that. Pompey's second comes on minute number 62, where Josh Murphy slides in the second, and it comes again. Jason Knight is dispossessed in midfield, and it is very, very borderline. How it's not a foul is a point of debate. I think I've seen those sort of fouls, sort of challenges been given as fouls. But after that, it's just really bad defending. I mean, Murphy does work very well to hold his run. I initially thought he might have been offside. No, very, very good run by Murphy. He, as I mentioned previously, terrorised Viner all game and gave us a really hard time. He slid in, he puts it home, 2-0. On that point, you're going, that's game over. Minute number 62, Lang before that actually misses a one-on-one, a golden chance to make it 2-0 at that point and kill the game off completely. Doesn't, and he does finish the game at 2-0. And then 3-0, Callum Lang hits superb from Josh Murphy again. He gets the ball on the right-hand side and whips in a delicious ball, and Callum Lang is there. It's a simple finish for a player of his quality. And then after that, 3-0, game over to 20 minutes to go. And quite frankly, it was game over on 1 minute 62. Just an atrocious display from a Bristol City perspective. Nothing went right, and ultimately the bipolar nature of this team, and quite frankly the utter inconsistencies shown by this particular squad is incredibly infuriating, because at points this season you've gone, Christ, this team has really shown some real top quality. We've played really well against some really top teams in this division. We've competed and we've shown we're capable of mixing it up against them and the quality they have, and and then you mix that with performances like this where you're just completely rudderless, a lack of idea, and quite frankly look like a lack of the players wanting to be there, and that is completely unacceptable. Whatever team it is, whether you're down near the bottom, challenge for the top, you have to put in 100%. It didn't look like that was the case today. A pretty embarrassing performance, coupled with a pretty embarrassing result. Pompey going into this bottom of the league, and they've been getting slightly better, but really, if we want to be mixing it in around the fringes of the playoffs, we have to be much better than that. And I don't know, has this result maybe kind of confirmed that maybe we aren't that sort of team this season? Possibly, very, very possibly. But just an embarrassing display that has led to a embarrassing result. It's ended Portsmouth 3, Bristol City 0. We play this St Pompey team at Ashton Gate very, very soon, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams' season transpires up until that game later this month. But yeah, today was a no-show from Bristol City and this squad, and probably the worst result of Liam Manning's tenure so far. Yeah, thank you very much for watching this match review. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.